Max, you'll do our invocation.
Before I pray, Mr. Tate, so good to see you.
Thank you.
We've been praying for you for a long time.
Thank
So
you.
good to
Glad
see you
be
here.
back.
Our gracious Heavenly Father, we thank you so much for your mercy and grace that you poured out upon our lives. We ask for your wisdom during this difficult time in our nation, in our county, and in our city. We pray, God, that you give wisdom to each and every person in this room, as you bring peace upon our nation, that you would help your church and your people to prosper. We thank you, God, for allowing us to do your business. And in your mighty name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Mr. Wayne?
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Charlotte.
Thank you.
Okay, in your package, you received the minutes of our last meeting.
Motion.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, who made the motion? Hard to see from
Oh,
here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Did you see
Hey,
that,
we
Mr.
have to
Brett?
ask that. We need a closed meeting too, just.
We're going to need a closed meeting tonight?
Yes.
Okay.
And who seconded? Kim?
I
Ken,
came from.
Yeah.
15 feet, thank you.
All right. Okay. All right. Committee and departments, chamber.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Due to COVID-19, there's been many casualties of festivals, fairs, events, that sort of thing, and most are still being postponed. I have updates on a couple. So the car show that was supposed to be happening this month, we were all really excited about, that has been pushed back to September as of right now. So that won't be happening in June. I think that's probably the safest decision for everybody. Also, the La Femme Gala, it's been moved to October. American Cancer Society is having a meeting with their local committee tomorrow. Their event has been scheduled for October. I imagine that tomorrow they'll talk about that event. So local groups are not giving up on their events. They're just being cautious just like everyone else and seeing what's going to happen. So I applaud them for that, for not canceling but postponing. That's what we want to do. So we're just going to continue working with all those groups to help them promote once they get back going. And we'll continue to provide information from the governor and health department to help them make those decisions when it's appropriate. That's all I've got for now.
Thank you, ma'am.
All right, thank you. All right, finance.
I don't have much either. I don't have any numbers other than that we're going to start getting together to start working on the New Year's budget.
Okay. All right, fire.
About all I got right now is city's emergency management agency has been awarded the EMG grant for the year of 2021 in the amount of $9,331. So this money will be applied to the Kennet Emergency Management budget for operational costs. And last year's total budget was $25,000. So,
Good deal.
Okay.
good.
Good job.
And Mr. Spain will tell you the rest of it.
James, thank you. Mayor, council, personnel, Brenda, good to see everybody again, all in the same room, so gotta get that out of the way first. A little bit about fire calls. Last month, our fire call response was a total of 87 fire calls, EMS calls. Of those, 51 were EMS related. We had a total of about 4 that, we'll say, a little bit more extra COVID precautions were taken. So we were quite pleased, even though we were under a pandemic, that fortunately, under our EMS calls, we weren't really affected by any of that. So again, kudos to Chief Wilson and his dispatch. They were doing quite well, and they continue to do quite well about notifying people when they call 911, asking them if they have certain symptoms. So, thank you. That's it all. Other things going on within the fire department, the fire station. We met Skelton has completed our boundary survey. So thank you, Mets, for doing that for us, you and Chris. We've also signed a contract with Dill Trexel, the architect company, and they're going to be coming in the morning around 10. And we're going to be going over some preliminary architect designs. So by all means, if any of y'all are free and available, come on up to the admin office around 10 o'clock in the morning and sit in. Other things going on. Our advanced life support certification from the state, right now we're just waiting on the state to say they're going to come in and do an inspection for us to make sure that everything's up to speed as far as the state with our EMS advanced life support response. And with everything going on, it's been slightly delayed. So we're just waiting on them to come in and do that. Property maintenance. Folks, I just want to let you know that property maintenance is out doing work. Numerous letters have been sent. Again, grass is growing great. D-ticketing, you know, we're working on to finalize all that. So again, letters are being sent out, and he's doing the best that he can to his ability. But by all means, don't care to contact one of us or contact Donnie or Victor and say, look, have you done anything about this property or that property? So it doesn't affect them or us one way or the other. Give us a call if you've got some concern.
Right now, they can't go to court.
Right.
So what's the process right now?
We're trying to send letters, or Donnie's going out and talking to them. And that seems to have worked in a lot of cases, but again, there's always certain cases throughout the year that just talking just really doesn't do the trick. So additional oomph from the court system's needed. And
Did we ever figure out if we could just go mow it and send them a bill?
Yeah, we can.
Yeah.
I mean, we have to give them notice, and then they have a right to request a hearing. But if we're just talking about weeds, tall weeds, it's just like a 7-day process that you can go through where you give them notice, they have a right to request a hearing, and if they don't, just go mow it.
So 7 days, so they give Mr. Wanning a notices, tell him to mow his yard, and he hasn't done anything within 7 days, we can go mow it and then bill him for that.
If he doesn't request a hearing in that time.
Is there a set fee for that?
That's pretty good.
I think we set it several years ago at 150.
I think we need to utilize that because it's just not happening. I get the same call about the same house, you know, every couple of months since I've been there.
Right across
Can
the
I say
street.
something?
I mean, that,
Yes, ma'am.
It's 150 is like the base fee, and then it's so much for each hour, like versus, like, you know, one person there, so much an hour, 2 people there, so much an hour. If they use Roundup, that's a charge. If they use, it's a different charge if they use a riding lawnmower versus a weed eater, whatever.
can we,
So that's in addition to the 150.
It's all based on our actual expenses.
Okay.
Haters, you said.
Do y'all want to try that this year?
yes.
Because it seems like it's an issue every year and nothing really gets better.
Exactly.
And like he said, you gotta talk to most people and they get it done. It is what it is. But then you always have, it seems like the same people every year that aren't doing it.
Okay. Question, what happens when we mow the yard and they don't pay, and then 2 weeks later?
The taxes.
Gotcha.
Okay,
that was my question
too. Yeah.
And you have to realize you're gonna be eating that 150 or whatever it is for quite a while. But it's, you know, that's what you gotta weigh to get city clean. You're gonna be spending money that you may not get back for a while, if you get back at all.
I mean, you imagine that they're gonna eventually, once start hitting the pocketbook, and I'm not one that just wants to fine everybody, but goodness gracious, it's an issue.
That's far.
Well, because they know we're not following through.
Right. Yeah, I mean, you can get slapped on the hand so many times until it doesn't hurt anymore.
Donnie does have several at this time that he's looking for abatements to get that started.
Okay.
So that's going to start.
Good,
So it is happening with some properties.
good deal. I just wanted you to know you had our approval.
We've got about 4 or 5 places right now that don't mow, that we take the bush hog and mow 1 or 2 strips around the outside of the property by the road already. I mean, if that would help, we could add it to the list, but they're vacant lots and they don't mow them. One of them's a corner visibility thing, so we just kind of mow it.
Can you get with them and kind of let them
Now,
know what?
that may
what it
be
is?
part of the abated property, so
Maybe.
it'll be give a Donnie and
Okay.
I'll discuss that, so.
We'll do it.
Good deal.
All right. Finally, one more thing I'd like to say thank you, Councilman Wainick, Collier, Hunter, Steve, you wasn't there yesterday, I'd give you thanks, but I'll see you in the finance committee, but I'd like to thank you all for being there, during our budget time. Again, I feel like you all definitely had the city's safety on the first and foremost. So, there was a lot of good conversation.
There was.
And I'll tell you from a department head, I appreciate that. So thank you all. With that being said, and I'm pushing this, I am hoping that maybe this year, that we add 2 more full-time staff members going to either an EMT and or a paramedic. And opening up Station 1 as a full-time 24-hour staff station. And that'd be our primary medical response station in the central part of the city. So, anyway, just want to throw that out there. But again, thank you all for what you've done for me. So,
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
Okay, human resources.
We had a meeting the other night, and that's the reason we need to have a closed meeting afterwards, to talk about some stuff. But other than that, that's all I have on HR this time.
Okay. Then humane.
I have one thing I wanted to talk about before Tina takes over. Judge Mauer had donated his scanner and printer to KHD, but they hadn't received it and didn't know if it was still there or here or where that was. And then also, have we ordered a laptop for their office? I thought we were supposed to.
I think it's been ordered, I don't know, to be honest.
Will that be the same laptop that police are getting?
Yes.
Do you know off the top of your head?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
Who would order it?
Brad.
Brad George. I can check on that and call you.
Yeah, please, because the sooner they get that, the better. And then, how do you think we should proceed with, he hasn't brought it here, right? The print, or not him, but someone from his office hasn't brought the printer scanner here?
No, it should be down there in his office, shouldn't it?
All right?
Is that what
We'll
you're
just
talking about?
check that.
They're mostly working out of their phones.
Oh, so he would
There's nobody
have
across
taken
the
it, he would have taken it.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we can,
So we check, I guess,
I can,
we'll check on that or?
yeah.
Okay. All right, and then police.
Do you want to talk about the unexpected
We need,
expense?
excuse me, we
I've
need,
got some
Oh,
stuff to bring
Keith,
up.
sorry.
sorry.
Sorry, we'll go back. Hang on.
Oh, you want to wait? Oh,
We call it.
I forgot about it, I'm sorry.
Do what?
Okay, we were kind of on the lowdown because the rescues were kind of all on halt during the pandemic. But even with that, we still took in 48 dogs for the month of May. 14 we did return to the owners, and we didn't have to euthanize any, we had no adoptions. And we were able to transfer 38 out into rescues in Missouri. So we still managed to stay pretty well afloat,
How many do we have out there now?
like 5. But we just transported Saturday.
Yeah.
Friday,
Give her 48 hours.
Well, no, it's
Right, and all of, everything that they needed, most of them did have to have medical, like amputation of the leg for one. Most of them had skin issues, so everything was paid for by donations from the public. So the city was out nothing on that. So, any questions?
I'm gonna go ahead and point this out. They have a truck that is having some issues. The clown truck, the one with the deal in the back. They're having a brake issue, which is a pretty big deal. Every once in a while, they'll push the brakes and there's no brakes at all whatsoever. So, we're taking it to a couple different mechanics with a couple different ideas, and,
They just can't guarantee it.
just can't guarantee, I mean, so we have, somebody says, we
Ideas.
replace this, it's $1,000 here, it's $1,000 here, but it's all guesses. So, when we start talking, we have to discuss what to do with that, because that's a pretty major liability.
Are we taking it to the dealership?
It's been to quite a few places.
Well, there's also
And
some
the
things,
dealership can't.
there's also some things with Department of Ag and the requirements now that that you have to have now on your vans,
Yeah.
that this little truck we wouldn't be able to
Yeah,
do.
so like the little cage in the back, if you put a dog back there and the Department of Ag sees it, you're gonna be in big trouble because it's not air conditioned
Or heated.
or heated.
So what kind of animals are okay to go back there then?
It has to be,
Like deceased ones, pretty much,
but those are
So we got all
things
these
we can be
expensive
fined on.
cages that,
pretty much. Well, I mean, it's
I got you.
Department of Ag and EPA and all that, it changes by the day, so.
So basically, we need to come up with a truck.
Basically, we need to come up with a van.
They may have a
Van.
grant for that if they.
We talked about that in a committee meeting about potential of the grant. But long story short, we gotta think about it, and we gotta think about it
Soon.
rather quickly, so.
Not true, getting pretty overwhelming.
Yeah, and that was the thing, I mean, you know, $1,000 here, $1,000 here, or $1,000 truck, I mean,
Yeah,
what do you do?
but that truck has served her well, but it's
Yeah.
time to retire.
It is. So, just throwing that out there, we gotta think about that during budget time. If we have somebody else say something?
We can talk about it during budget time.
Yes, sir.
It's a 2007,
And we have numbers on that.
2008, when you were here.
It's a 2007 truck?
Yes, and we got it in 2008. And then the box was actually, I got donated from Dexter, so that didn't cost the city anything.
Okay. All right. Is that all? Yeah,
Thank you.
All right, now, Chief Wilson.
Okay. Kind of like Chief Payne, it's good to have everybody back in person. It makes our job a little bit easier being able to have meetings this way.
And be able to understand each other?
Yes,
Yes.
exactly.
Crazy.
Exactly. So it will make, you know, the department get a lot easier.
Yeah, but you look good on TV.
One thing I think, a lot of you know, there are some threats made on social media to the police department over the weekend. Threats to burn down the building, burn up police cars, and threats to officers' lives. I want you to know we take those threats very seriously. We've got an individual that is in custody by the end of the night that night. Our officer doing the investigation, and the prosecutor's office has issued a warrant on it. There could be more charges filed, but I do want the public to know that we do take those threats very seriously, and we will act on them, and we won't hesitate. As far as I've had some people in the community that have concerns about the protest up on the square. Right now, everything is peaceful. As far as I'm concerned, as far as the police department, as long as they stay peaceful, then we're not going to do anything. There's no need to. If it turns violent or we start having some property damage or something, then we'll take some different steps. But right now, it's peaceful, and the best thing to do is just let them do what they're doing. I did tell Councilman Weatherwax earlier, we met the radio people yesterday. You guys remember we approved the money to have the link eliminated down at the fire station. They came, they looked at our system and said that's not going to fix it. So there's no charge. It's what they did yesterday. It's just basically going to be a consultation. They believe our repeater that we have right now is not designed to do what it needs to do. It's an old repeater. Matter of fact, the company that makes it is not even in business anymore.
How old is that repeater that we have? Roundabout.
Do you remember by chance? I'm gonna say it purchased back in the 90s, but I'm not 100% sure about that.
That's good enough.
Yeah.
That's understandable.
Again, I'm not 100% sure about that. Do you know? By chance? Okay. I may be wrong about the date. It could be newer than that. I believe. But-
What happens if it goes out?
No.
No,
There's no radio
it's
communication.
late 90s, early 2000s.
Okay.
So what are we looking at price-wise?
He said for the repeater, it'd be about 5,000. Cost to reprogram everything, it's gonna run a little bit more money, but what I asked him to do is kind of break down why this system doesn't work anymore for us, so I can bring back to the council and explain it to you guys better, and then what the cost does to build it like it needs to be done.
Does this guy, does this company that's gonna do it know this is gonna fix it?
He's seen this before, he's experienced with Moshman, so as a matter of fact, he listened to some of the dispatch yesterday, and he said, no wonder. He said, that's not good.
I mean, the thing about it is, we have to fix it
Absolutely.
as soon as possible.
Yeah.
Up in
So,
here.
it's
Yeah,
gonna be-
I mean, I really don't even think we need to wait till the
You
next
said
council meeting to talk about it.
5,000, and then a little bit more. Is it 5,000? How much is the total gonna be to fix it?
I don't know yet, because he's got to go back and figuring the cost of reprogramming all of our radios in cars and portables. Cost of coming here. He'll have it built at his shop, or all he's gotta do is come down here and put it in.
Where's he coming from?
He's gonna try to work, the original company is out of Fayetteville, Arkansas, but Paragould Communications can do the same thing. So we're gonna try to work with them. They're closer and they got a guy that can actually come and work on it and be here pretty quick. So if it goes down to like 2 o'clock in the morning, he's gonna be here to fix it.
When you get those numbers together, can you let us know? And
I was thinking about maybe we could do a up to amount
Up to
or something.
You think 10,000 to fix it?
Do you have anything in your
I think so, but don't hold me to that because he could come back with some numbers.
Can I make a motion to fix it, 10,000, go ahead and do it, if it's more, just shoot us an email and we'll try to figure it out.
Yeah.
I mean, I just don't wanna wait
Do you
2
have
weeks to
anything
have
in
another
your
meeting to
budget,
talk about
this
it.
year's budget for radio repair work?
There was some money in there for radio repairs. I can't remember exactly how much we budgeted for, but we didn't, we spent a little bit this year out of the current budget.
It's like 2,500 in there maybe?
There was a whole lot of money left over.
Something
Yeah,
like
it
that.
wasn't bad at all.
Yeah, I
Money
don't
is-
have those numbers in front of me.
Money aside, when the officers.
I don't have them either, that's why I'm asking.
Yeah.
But we need to move on this.
I'll make a motion, we can go up to 10.
If it goes over that, I'll be sure to email y'all
Okay.
and we'll go from there.
Good deal, yeah. We
All right.
got a motion and a second.
So we got a
And where's that
motion.
gonna come out for, if it comes out of this year's budget?
Uh,
Well,
you
I
have
asked him
any-
if it could come out of this year's budget, and he said he didn't think he could get it done that fast. So we tried, but he didn't.
okay. So we have a motion and a second to fix the repeater up to 10,000 without hauling back at us, correct? Okay, all in favor?
Right.
Any opposed? All right, motion passes.
If it goes on next year's, I'm okay with
Okay.
So you wanted to go on next year's?
Yes.
Oh, okay, yeah, I mean, that'll be
it.
fine.
That answers my question, he says you may not get done this year.
He didn't think he could get all that work done.
And it's just, you know, and that's what I told Chief Wilson, if nothing else, maybe we have to spend, okay, a little money now and then pay the rest when it's done. Okay,
They said,
thank you.
Because
Thank you.
Yeah, if you have some remaining, pay that, if it happens this year, then the remaining balance in July.
I'll forward that information to you as soon as I get it.
Yeah, and I will look at the numbers as well.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Also, with warm weather, our call volume is starting to skyrocket. I will tell you, we had an officer activated the other day with the National Guard, which leaves my day shift another man short. So we're expecting my overtime to go up because we're going to call in officers to work and cover his shift. Our part-timers are doing a good job of jumping in when they can. A lot of them have daytime jobs, so it's hard for them to come in and cover that day shift slot. So we're kind of having some of the night shift guys even come in and help us on days to help cover the shifts. So there's going to be some overtime that's going to have to come out. I'm trying to cover as many shifts as I can to cut down on the overtime, but I can't get all of it. So other than that, that's all I have. Everything else I have for closed session.
I got a question.
Thank you.
Been out to polls all day. This may be my last meeting, I don't know. But some people asked me about the,
That's fine.
huh? No, about the noise ordinance. Do we have a noise ordinance?
Yes, we do.
What is it?
Basically, I don't think we have, it's up to, I guess anybody can complain on, Terry can probably find this better than I can.
Of course, anybody plans, if you hear it 50 feet away, basically, or if it disturbs the peace,
I'm sorry?
or if it disturbs the peace.
Okay.
What's the procedure for citizen complaints? Who do they call?
Call the police,
Hopefully, they can sign a
Like
complaint on the
anything.
person that's doing it.
just like anything else.
Yeah.
Okay.
Allow me to call, they sign a complaint on them, we'll go issue them a citation, we'll get them in.
I've done it.
And
the
some,
neighbors know I did it.
I don't, they don't. They're gone.
some folks also asked about the golf carts, the SUVs, whatever it is that they're doing. And they've been seeing a lot of kids
Correct.
driving, not grown-ups.
Yeah.
Some of them not even grown-ups in the vehicle.
Stop.
And I thought we had that fixed where a driver,
And there's no
a
permits
licensed driver
displayed either.
had to drive.
That's the way it's supposed to be.
That's right.
Yeah.
And if there's no permit. then
And it's
fine.
hard to catch, to patrol, to catch those, because I see them out by where I work also. And they ride around all in there too. At the same time, even if I stopped and called, they could be back in their house and.
Yeah, and that's the hard thing, stick a call on, we do get calls about it, by the time we get to the area, I mean, they're gone or they're in the house, like you said, it's hard to catch them. But I didn't have fleeing officers stop some of them already that catch them when they're on patrol.
Or what do we do in a situation where
There was one on Independence at
pull
night.
their permit?
That was hard to see.
Or what?
Oh,
We can,
Impound?
no, I was listening to Steve.
Can you
There was
impound?
one at night on Independence, and you had a hard time seeing no bright lights.
he was on Independence?
Yes.
Yeah, he's not supposed to be on the highway.
There was one on Independence today behind me, somewhere along around in Kentucky Fried Chicken. I noticed they were behind me.
That's the same area.
And they followed me all the way up to the stoplight on Ely, and then they turned onto the north bypass, which they're also not supposed
Yeah,
to be
we're
on.
not supposed to be on any state roads at all, so that's hard. We have stopped a few of them, but it's hard to get all of them. It really is.
Right.
Right now, we're doing a lot of warnings. At some point, they get caught multiple times, and we'll start right here.
We made some
I think we might need to switch to stop the warnings and going right on the tickets.
Right now, we still don't have municipal
And
court.
also maybe posting
That's- yeah,
that
that's
Even
right.
though
on
court
your
is
page,
90 days away or better.
so that we, to remind everybody about this new ordinance, like that, and then we can share it. If it's on the mayor's page, your page, 911 communications, just like, we're reminding you again.
Yeah.
This is the deal. And because I think it's gonna get worse in the summer.
Warmer weather, kids have been out of school for months.
I know, so it's gonna
down.
That might be why it's so bad
Yeah, I
now.
mean, in summertime,
Well, we need to stop doing the warnings.
Yeah.
Let's go straight on, no more warnings, straight to tickets. Even though they won't go to court for a few months.
I mean, I don't think we need to stop the warnings, because you're not giving the same people multiple warnings. So, I mean, no one needs multiple warnings, but, I mean, I don't have kids, but my 15-year-old kids driving down the road, I'd like for them to have a warning first before I take it.
A lot of that message needs to get out to the parents for allowing the.
Well, that's where the ticket needs to go.
Yeah, that's where
Yeah, I mean,
it's
the
going.
ticket,
It should be
I
to
don't
the
know
kid.
that we can do that.
Why not?
We can.
The ordinance requires a licensed driver to be a vehicle.
And a lot of the children are younger than 15.
Well, it's the same thing as allowing an unlicensed driver to drive. It's the same charge, because you're supposed to be a licensed driver. If a parent who actually owns the golf cart lets a 12-year-old drive, it's the same as allowing a 12-year-old to drive a car.
Now, I'm not wanting to make it hard on people, but neither do I want to see that 12-year-old kid
Yeah.
killed by pulling out.
Council was good enough to enact that as a convenience to people, and then you're gonna have someone who's gonna manage that, and that's not what we're having. But we kind of knew some of that might happen when we get this, so.
If they're in their neighborhood, they're not up and down the highways, going across the highways, that's one thing. If they're going around the block, but still they could get killed in their neighborhood.
That's right.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
And a lot of times at that young age, they don't judge that distance very well.
that's right.
Oh, out front of us.
I'm getting a lot of complaints at Westgate.
Are you?
Oh, it's in Baker Edition too.
Gardner's edition is doing great.
Braggart.
Very good.
Everybody's got a four-wheeler over there.
Any more questions?
No, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Well, I did that.
Okay, street department.
Only thing I got is I'm gonna request, we have some money left in the salary portion of the mow crew. And we would like to, and the committee talked about it, we would like to get a couple of new mowers and give one to the compost of the used ones. That way he can take care of out there, and then possibly trade in or sell one of the other ones we're currently using, to utilize that money, because.
Can they do that, Terry? Can they use salary money to buy equipment?
Yes. I mean, we're talking about your budget, and you can always amend the budget.
Okay. That's what I mean without amending the budget.
Well, you're amending it when you move it from, when you approve the moving from salary to
Okay.
purchase.
So the money's in your budget?
Yes, so basically, Mr. Westfield's gonna, explain it, and then you guys will see what I'm talking about.
Mayor, council members, it is good back to to be back in here, other than the fact that some of the paperwork I need is on my desk where I'm used to having it for the council meetings. So I don't have exact numbers here, but we can ballpark it. I was actually talking to Chief Wilson just a few minutes ago. The way they had it set up, I think there were at one time maybe 4 part-time employees on the mow crew. So the budget, I guess, was a little bit bigger. We need to have closed meeting tonight, as a matter of fact, too. But we've gone from several part-time to 1 full-time person on the mow crew. The salary was up there pretty good. I'm thinking 40-something thousand. When we do the full-time person with the insurance and Social Security and all the stuff that full-time people get, it's gonna drop it down a whole lot. But this year, we've got enough money to replace 2 mowers if we want to do that. And if we don't do it this year, we're probably not going to be able to do it for a while, because I don't know unless y'all can come up with some money somewhere for the mow crew.
Excuse me, Mr. Westfield. You mean to tell me we've got somebody riding a lawnmower making $46,000?
No, this was for 4, to split between 4. No.
Okay.
This was the salary that they had set for the mow crew, just because I think most of the time, maybe 3 people, 2 or 3, and I was told that they had up to 4 people working at one time, so I don't know.
Wow.
So, no, I'm gonna apply for that job.
Yeah, that's right. You won't need any more help, I promise.
No, yeah, well, we could use it, but, no, that was just the salary that was set, but after doing the full-time and everything, that's gonna go down considerably. So this year, we've got the money there to do it, but next year we won't, and in future years, unless we come up with another game plan, we won't have money to replace these mowers.
Well, I thought that's what you were getting at, I just wanted a little clarification.
Yeah, no, we don't, they don't make that much, they start off at $12 an hour if anybody needs a job. I talked to Chief Wilson when he got here, and he said that they are gonna try to get one of those shipping containers put out at the pistol range. And he had mentioned something about they could do some mowing out there if they had one. So we could take one and give it to the compost where he can keep that mowed out there. And then we could probably give one to the police department so they could keep the pistol range mowed. They'd take care of the 2 that we'd be not trading in, because I don't figure we'll get much trading them in anyway. But there's money there to replace 2 of them. I've talked to the people at the Bad Boy, and he said if we get them, they'll give us a good deal on them.
State bid on it, pretty good.
Do we need to
I guess it'll be a bit, do what?
You can get state bid on it.
Yeah, I guess that's what it is, because he said it'll be quite a bit cheaper than what the price was that he gave me. So if there's any way we can do that, this would be a good opportunity to get those mowers, and hopefully they'll last till I'm gone. Then somebody else can worry about replacing them, but I don't see, we won't have any money to do it anytime, probably soon if we don't do it.
So, Mr. Parr, is that a motion from your committee?
That is a motion to move that line item money over so we can buy.
Do we have a number?
The
Give me
mowers,
3 minutes, I'll go to my truck and get it.
the mowers, for the mowers, they're gonna, I think they were listed for 8,000 or 9,000 each, and he said that we could get
It was less than 20.
around 15,000 to 18,000 off of each one of them.
100. It was about
1,500.
It was about 15,000.
Yeah, they're gonna give them to us, aren't they?
I can go get the numbers if you want, they're in my truck.
Yeah, that's probably later.
Yeah, it's about,
Just send me a picture of it.
I'll second Marco's motion.
Okay. We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Yes.
Any opposed? Okay, motion passes.
Thank you very much. The only other thing is for the council, or for the street department, just a little update from January 2020 to June 2020, the compost has taken in 1,597 loads of limbs, 540 loads of leaves, and 422 loads to the roll-off dumpsters.
Everybody's home.
Excuse me?
Everybody was home.
Yeah. We do need a closed meeting tonight for the street department. I guess while I'm here, Mr. Palmer's not gonna, said go ahead and take care of this, he won't be here. We, got our camera trailer in and we've been using it in the back truck, looking at some of our, what we figured to be problem spots, and I was gonna let Gerald tell you, cause he was there doing it today, but we found a spot in the Tatum-Jackson area that is probably 90% blocked in the pipe. The whole pipe, you've got about that much room at the top for water to go through.
That's
So,
what kind of pipe was there? Concrete pipe?
Yeah, yes, it's, this one is maybe 12 or 14 inch. I went by briefly and looked at it.
Is it concrete or metal?
Yes, not concrete. Also from, on Vandeventer Street from St. Francis to Lee Street, there are quite a few roots from the trees growing in there, and they've actually apparently had problems years ago and just laid another pipe in there and then kind of broke into the side of them and hooked them together, because there's a lot of weird things going on there. But while they were cameraing it, they found a phone line running straight through the middle of the pipe from top to bottom. So someone probably without a phone before long when we get the root cutter in there, they'll have to reroute that.
Somebody forgot to call Dick.
Well, if it's a landline, nobody will probably call anyway, unless it's a business, because that's the only ones I know still have them, so I don't know any business around here. Maybe it's fire department, I don't know, you know. May lose a phone at Fire Station 1, I don't know. Last meeting, I think, Steve, you asked about the warranty on the camera trailer. It's never been sold. We'll be the first owners of it, and it'll have a full 1-year warranty on everything, full warranty.
That's what you would say last time.
Not lifetime, it's full 1 year. No, it's full 1 year warranty. It has lifetime training on it. They will come back and train us, anytime if we hire new people, they'll come retrain. And he said today that if we get to using it, have issues and want him to come back, they'll come back and retrain us. Now that is lifetime.
And we can't reverse it, right, to go the other way?
I can talk to him, but I don't see that happening. We gave him a check today, so I'm guessing the deal's done. This week, Monday and today, we hauled 180.37 tons of sweepings that's been swept up since the first of the year. The pipelining crew, I think we talked about this the last meeting, has got the pipes done on Harrison Street from Jones to Poole. And we just finished the boxes today repairing. Some of them were old enough that they were brick and not much mortar in them. They were pretty bad. So we've repaired those and raised them up and got all that done today, finished up today. So hopefully this week, if the rain doesn't get us, we'll pour that street back and have all that open back up. I guess I'll kind of throw this out because it's a stormwater thing that we're probably going to need to think about for next year. We piggybacked off of Sea Light and Water this year to get that done, and we were going to do it the next few years because they said they were going to be going from manhole rehab to their sanitary sewer lines. Well, I was informed yesterday that they're probably not going to be doing any of that next year. So the only way we'll be able to get the people to come back to do any pipes will be if we pay the full price of it. They won't come for less than $100,000.
Oh, well.
Yeah, so Sea Light Water did $100,000 last year, so we were able to get minimum of whatever we needed on there. And we do have some lines that are in real bad need of repair.
Do we got $100,000?
Do what?
Do we have the $100,000?
Oh, absolutely.
Well, these know what people in the country
we've got
do.
$100,000 worth of stuff to do. It'll just be budget-wise. I mean, if y'all won't spend that much next year.
Whether it's in stormwater or not.
Do what?
Whether it's in stormwater.
It will be stormwater, yeah. Hopefully by next year it'll be back up. But, you know, we bought this truck, or this trailer, which was $100,000 we spent. So it'll just be a matter of leaving some stuff off. You know, this year we had in to buy prefab manhole boxes and put them in. I think they were, I don't remember, $1,500 a piece or whatever they were. We had several that we were gonna do, so we let that off to get the trailer and a couple other things. We may have to do that next year. We'll have a meeting on that stormwater and bring that all back to y'all, but that's something we need to look at because we do have at least 3 or 4 lines that really need to be lined bad. Because they're gonna be in places that we're not gonna be able to repair them if we get holes in them. They're just no way we can fix it without moving structures.
Houses.
Houses. They're going under houses. They're WPA lines, they go under houses. And we found one the other day that's got a hole in it. Yeah, so.
You talking about the problem that you found on Jackson?
Do what now?
You talked about the problem you found on Jackson where it's collapsed down to just next to nothing? What's the plan?
No, this is in a different area. This is, well, one of the areas is actually part of that line, but it runs from Vandeventer, goes cross country through Everett, and then it goes through yards again to Walnut, crosses Walnut, goes under another house, goes back behind, between the houses in the back, and turns and goes back out to Harrison. Crosses Harrison, goes back under, goes in the parking lot, and then it goes back through yards, and it ends up where we did all the stuff over on Hastings, where we had all that dug up, but the big pipes in, that's where it ends up at. And we've just recently had to dig that up and do some work right in that backyard, right off their fence. We had a big cave in there.
Is that Mr. Garrett's place?
Yes, sir. Had a major issue there, but, if the line, these 3 or 4 really need to be lined bad, but like I said, if we get holes in them and they collapse, we won't be able to, I don't know how we'd be able to fix them, honestly. I mean, I know Mr. Hunter and Mr. Harr I talked to about them, so, yeah. So it's something we need to really seriously think about next year. That's all I've got, if y'all don't have any questions. That's enough to ponder on a little bit, isn't it? Yeah. I think that we can come up with the money, it'll just be one of those things where a lot of the little projects that we had planned and wanted to do, we'll just have to put off another year. And I think that we can probably get all of it done maybe next year.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, industrial.
Nothing for this time. We need to have a meeting though soon. Mr. Roberts said that he had some information for us. So I guess now we're able to meet in person. We need to set up a meeting probably for next week. I'll set one up. I'll get with Brenda and see.
Okay.
It'll be a good time.
Okay.
Any day next week?
I'll be fine.
Tuesday maybe?
Well, we gotta have a finance meeting next week, so we'll coordinate something.
Okay. Yeah, just let me know. Let me know.
Okay.
That's it.
All right. We don't have anything underneath unfinished business, new business. In your packet, you'll see the approval of the ordinance for the lot subdivision at former Wilson's Fireworks. And
First reading is an ordinance accepting and approving plat of KC subdivision to the city of Kennett, Missouri. And this is just a subdivision, as a 1-lot subdivision, it's the old Wilson's Fireworks building. And in order for the present owner to sell it, they have to subdivide it.
Motion. Second.
all in favor?
Who made the motion?
I did.
Second reading, an ordinance accepting and approving plat of KC subdivision to the city of Kennett, Missouri.
Motion.
Second.
All right. We'll go to roll call. Yes, James?
Aye. Yes.
Aye.
Barry?
Aye. Yes.
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 All in favor? Motion carries. Okay. The second item on new business is a discussion of possible personnel policy change. Within recent events, like the one over the weekend, that it's been asked about the ability for our employees to, especially office employees, to conceal carry, and also within some of our department heads, open carry as well. I know Chief Spain has been in discussions with Chief Wilson. I've spoken with him. We talked about some being able to work with our training officers out at the firing range along those lines. Right now, our employees want to feel safe. So I haven't gotten to everybody, I've gotten to several, and, you know, some of the council members. And so it's a request being made by our employees, and I have no problem with it. Chief Wilson and I spoke with it, and with some training, he has no problem with the policy change. I did talk with Myrna. They do not recommend it, but they don't have the guidelines against it. And so that is where we're standing at there.
I have a question. Will each employee be going through a training before they're able to do this?
If they already had this, okay.
Even if they have their conceal and carry already?
If they had a conceal and carry, then basically what we'll do is they'll need to qualify, same as our officers do.
Okay.
If they don't qualify, we'll kind of work with them where they can qualify. If they just can't qualify, then it'll be up to the city council to make the decision whether you're going to allow them to carry or not. And if you can't qualify with your weapon, then you don't need to be carrying it.
I agree.
Question? Yes.
You talk to Mr. McVeigh on that?
It's legal.
It's legal?
Yeah. Now, Murma doesn't like it because they don't like anything. And there is an increased risk. There is an increased risk there. There is increased risk of liability. But you just have to weigh that with the increased safety against the increased risk.
Mr. Mayor, I would make a motion to approve that.
I second that.
Okay.
It's a crazy world we live in now.
It is.
And I really appreciate that. So, all in favor?
Is
Or
that-
any discussion?
Yeah, is that just gonna be any employee that wants to, or just department heads?
It would be, the way we were discussing it, anybody in the office setting that, you know, if you're out on the street department, I don't see that need for it because you can get away. If you're stuck inside of an office building, but that is something that is up to discussion within the council. Where do we want to have it? You know, like within City Hall here, we've got our dispatchers that at nighttime, there may be nobody, no officer here, and so they're stuck inside the office. Or if all of our officers are out on a call somewhere, and you have Brenda and Leslie and Dennis that are in here, and they're the only ones in here besides dispatch, it's, who do we say yes to and who do we say no to? That's where I was bringing it up as, office personnel especially, out at the street department. Keith's in his office most of the day, and if somebody walked in there, it's one of the things with people knowing that we do, whenever conceal and carry first came out, I liked one of the bank's statements that they put on their front door. Please carry your weapon in here with you. All of our tellers do. So if a bank robber is going to go up to a bank and rob a bank and he sees that statement, he's going to choose a different bank. And if people know that, especially our office personnel do have the permission to carry, they may think twice about, well, if I'm going in this building, and so, or if they're thinking, hey, well, the police are all over here dealing with this, now's my time to go here, but hey, Miss Brenda, Leslie, Dennis, something like that, they've got their CCW, they've gone through training.
Does it need to be a designation between people that are in offices as opposed to, like you said, out on the street?
That's what he just got through saying.
Yeah, that's where I would really think with them, if you spend more time inside the office, that's where I would definitely say that would be a delineation versus our tree trimming crew or our mow crew, something like that. At the fire station with Paul and all them, they're inside of an office a lot, or they're going inside of offices and buildings for their, like Mr. Dennis, he's going inside buildings, things like that. Whenever I worked in St. Louis, they didn't allow us, but I didn't feel comfortable going inside some of those houses, you know, working EMS and picking somebody up off the floor. So the delineation is up to debate. How do you guys want to delineate that?
Could we make it the department head's choice if they want to
Allow their personnel to do it?
allow their, I don't know.
Yeah, it's, leave it up to the department head, and then they can, and I think it'd be good to have a list of the ones that each department, says it can, so we've got a list up here. Mr. Tyler?
What are your thoughts on this? This kind of falls in your realm, doesn't it?
Tell us, Mama Junior.
I was not gonna say that.
The, honestly, talking to Murma on their side of things, they would be happy if officers didn't carry weapons.
Yeah, I understand that.
I mean, they're a risk management agency, that's what they do, is they make a risk. We would be the first around our area that would do it, and I think that the main concern on their end would be is there other cities would actually catch on to it.
Well,
But
that's,
over,
So they might actually have to pay out more money. So they're afraid of that.
I'm not real worried about Murphy. I'm not
Well,
really.
if we
It's
document
employee
the
safety
training,
here.
we document the training, I don't see any issues.
And it's, I don't know how many of the city council was able to come up, was it last Thursday for the simulation?
No.
You know, besides being a lot of fun, it was also very informative on who you're allowed to shoot, who you couldn't, did you mess up? I was supposed to have shot somebody, but I didn't. But it was very informative on the legal ramifications of it. And going through that. And I think that, you know, whenever this training is offered in the future, you know, any of our city employees that are able to, that's a good thing, because that would be another step in training for them. To have Murma sitting right here, instructing them on, you know, the one thing where they told me that I was legally right to shoot was someone that we were serving a search warrant on, and he stood up out of the trunk of his, well, he was bent over in the trunk of his car, and he stood up and he had a shotgun.
I popped him.
And, well, I didn't, because he never turned and pointed the gun at me, but then he did get away and go inside a warehouse. So now I let somebody that was a known felon get away with a shotgun and go inside a warehouse that has full of employees. So, yeah, so I mean, the training was a good training. I think it'll be good for the future. But the big thing is our employees need to feel safe. They want to be safe. And if the public knows that, hey, if you come in City Hall and the police department is here, they're not the only ones here.
Okay, we have a motion.
So we got a motion and a second. So any other discussion?
Second.
All right, all in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Can I clarify something just for the minute? Was the motion for people with concealed carry or anybody?
Department head's recommendation.
Department head's recommendation.
Thanks.
Having a concealed carry.
Yeah, that would fall.
Yeah. Preferably with.
No, I'd say not preferably.
Yeah, you did have that.
You have to.
Yeah.
I've been having one though. But
Department head with concealed carry. Okay. All right, mayor's report.
One question. Being at the polls all day, I did see Mark Peltz today, and that property came up that he wants to give the city, and he wants to get rid of it and give it to the city. So what do we need to do here?
I'll meet with Scott Patterson.
Okay.
So where are we at on liability there? Because I know it's been went both ways. The guy.
What I understand is that there isn't any.
It's being cleaned, last I heard.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, last I heard, the gentleman that sat in that chair over there said stay away from it.
Which gentleman?
We'll let Terry follow up on it.
Yeah. So, okay. All right.
Sound like a winner to me.
Okay. All right. Mayor's report. I want to first start out with thanking Walmart and their crew for bringing up thank you cards and cookie cake and actually some other cake. They brought some pizza down there in the break room and a full cake, and then in our office. There's a cookie cake up there. That's, they're doing an Associate Appreciation Week, and I really appreciate Walmart for all they do for the city and for all of our citizens around the area. Eric Moore and all that, it's, you know, thank you very much for what you did. On a topic that, you know, it's been on everyone's mind for the last 2 months or better, is COVID-19. As we've seen within the Facebook posts and everything from our department, as things are opening up, we're seeing more testing and more positive cases. I believe we're up to 12 new active cases within the past week. I think Monday there was 6 added. So as people get out, whether it's at a pool party or something like that, you know, or a working situation, people around each other, we're asking, you know, still please use your common sense. If you don't feel good, stay home. If you have a temperature, stay home. Spreading this out and about it's not good for anybody. So, so please, at your social gatherings, we're trying it here. First time in here, we're trying to keep our 6 feet. We've got our limited number of 21. So it's, please use good hygiene, social distancing, and just be careful. Try and be out, have fun. It's summertime, it's nice weather, and work it there. I'd like to thank everyone that participated in Judge Maurer's parade. He sent a letter of appreciation the other day. You know, he has done a ton of work for the city, and it's going to be, you know, good to see what he does in his retirement. I'm sure it'll be something really nice. Today, as most of you know, and hopefully everybody out there in Facebook, you have gone and voted. Today is a different day of the year that whenever we're used to voting back a couple of months ago. So today was an election day. I hope you got out and voted. That's the way your voice is heard. Get out and vote. Usually for the town of Kennett, we have a 10 to 15% voter turnout. So if you don't like what's going on, get out and vote. Be part of the solution, not part of the problem. Going back to the incident that happened this weekend with the threats made against City Hall and our police department and all, that the City Hall is going to remain on lockdown for you know, a few more days to a few more weeks in the civil unrest that is going on. Thankful for the protesters that are up on the square that are being very peaceful. We see all the videos and everything from other cities where they are not. So other cities need to, you know, look at what our people are out here doing. Their voices are being heard, and they're doing it in a peaceful manner. And I know our police department is thankful for it, and so are we up here, that it's in a peaceful. So hopefully, and I pray that cool heads, open minds, and a giving heart prevails in our country now and in the future. Well, we've already taken care of number 6. An update on the hospital. Main Street Health Ventures has sent out letters of intent to the state. They are preparing all the rest of the paperwork they need for their certificate of need. We do have the community task force is up and still running. We'll be meeting later on this week. They do support, as you saw in their article, that they do support Main Street Health Ventures, division of BFG, and look forward to what all comes up about that over the next few weeks. We'll have more information after our next meeting. Sorry for all those out there. I worked all day trying to get that camera right there that Mark is doing, and then finally, when it finally did connect into my computer, it says does not operate with Windows 10. So that thing is old. Everything that I downloaded for it, nothing could get it to work. So that's why they are watching Facebook Live off of my phone right now, and hopefully I've still got a little battery left. That over this time of COVID and everything, you know, we've seen a good response with our Facebook being able to watch. So that gives them newspaper they get information from. They get it from the radio. get it from Channel 2 on time for New Wave Communications and getting it from Facebook. It's just another avenue for more information out there. So from a City Hall standpoint, we need to look at investing in how to update this equipment. I talked with New Wave today, and he's going to be getting back with me pretty soon on how to do that. So hopefully we can get something that'll work.
You talked with who?
Dennis, New Wave. So we can keep it on Channel 2. And I know Paul showed me a little bit of his setup. So working with New Wave, seeing if we can merge a system that will do both. So that Mark's not having to do two-handed up there. And but he's done a pretty good job so far tonight.
Not really.
That's a nicer guy.
Yeah, it is.
Do we have CLGW here?
Yes. Yes, we do.
Okay.
I think so, don't we?
I don't know, but the
Yeah.
broadcast keeps getting interrupted.
Yeah, well, it's, as more phones walk in here, we are off of a little waypoint up there. So, we're not, so whatever we get to go in through there, we'll do a hard wire in. So that way we don't lose the broadcast in and out. So it's all things to work on. It was brought up earlier, golf carts. And I've gotten several phone calls on those. Please guys, you asked for it, we gave you a privilege, don't make us regret it, and don't make us take it away. It is a golf cart, it is going down the road 15, 20 miles an hour. It's not supposed to be on the highways. You were given a ordinance whenever you picked up your sticker, your permit for it, please go by it. Yes, a golf cart can run over somebody or another animal or something like that, and accidents can happen, and they're going to. So please watch them and go through there. But I appreciate everything that everyone's been doing during this time. It's nice having everybody back together, being spread out a little bit as much as we can, and thank you. So with that, we will go with public
Mr. Mayor.
comments. Oh.
Yeah, public comments.
Yeah, public comment. That's the next one.
Thank you for your patience.
Yes.
I'm a preacher man. Mayor Wayne and city attorney, as well as you, all of you who represent the county. First thing I want to do is commend Chief Wilson for his officers responding to our neighborhood back on the 19th of May. We had a big fiasco down there. What we're seeing on TV right now was just a sample of what we had on my corner. My corner has become a hotbed here in Kennett. I was here about a year ago talking about the fireworks situation. Well, now with the COVID-19 and the coronavirus going on, our kids in the neighborhoods, and I'm not just talking about any specific race, because there were multitudes of all the races were down there. But this corner seems to be a problem here in Kennett. Now, we've had as many as 15 to 30 kids at a time. And once you get that many young people in an area, there can be no peace in that neighborhood. And also a lot of things start happening. So I thank God that the police force did respond that night, because I'm pretty sure you all know that there was also a shooting. The young man shot himself. So that should tell these young people that if you don't know how to use these weapons, that you shouldn't have them to begin with. But this is the society and the modern day thing that we're going through right now. And with, like I said, with this COVID virus going on right now, we're now living in a new order for the time being until God sees when this will be over. So I just wanted to commend the chief and his officers for what they've been doing. I know we're kind of short-staffed. I also had a meeting with him. My wife and I had a meeting with him the next day. Mayor Wayne, I did try to contact you, but I think you were very busy at your practice that day. But I did leave a number for you to call me back. Okay. Sometimes these things happen. That was the reason why I approached you today during the vote out here at the American Legion building, because I felt it was important to bring this to the attention.
A lot of our neighbors are elderly people. They're retired and they're also tired. And we can't get any rest on that corner. I don't understand why, even though I know we're going through this coronavirus, that you all would take the curfew out of content at this time. That curfew needs to stay in effect. The reason why I say that is because you all know, right now our children are beginning to get out of school. They're probably doing online classes, got to get their diplomas, but they're still coming out after 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I've already discussed this with the chief as to when they come out and when they go home. Now, we've got the 4th of July coming up. And the last time we had the 4th of July was like having a war down there in the zone. I had talked to the previous mayor about this, and he was gracious enough to get that corner cleared off. But this is an example of what's to come. We're getting the kids out of school now. There are no jobs, there are no opportunities here in Kennett right now. We don't know when we're going to get our hospital, and that's one of my biggest concerns. Because a lot of people are leaving Kennett now because they don't have any medical emergency attention without having to drive 45 or 50 miles up the road to be seen. So I commend you all for trying to get our hospital back at this time. Also at the same time, I want to commend Councilman Wayne for bringing up the issue about the unauthorized motorists that we've got coming through the neighborhood, because it's happening in mine too. And sometimes we can't get any peace at night with all of the muscle cars coming through, speeding up and down the road like it's a drag strip. And I know with our police force depleted as it is right now, it's hard for our officers to be where they should be at times. I think you all know for a while now what the hotbeds are here in Kennett. So I don't think that's anything new. But I know some things need to be changed. Now, I've listened to a lot of the activities and a lot of the things that are planned for Kennett, and I commend you all for doing that. You know, but also we have to be concerned not only with just the certain areas of Kennett or certain age groups in Kennett, because right now I'm very concerned with our young people because they don't have anything to do. They have no jobs. Everybody can't work at Burger King or churches or whatever fast food places we have with minimum wage. We need to start trying to bring some industry back here in Kennett. And until that happens, this city's going to slowly start dying. I've been living here 38 years. I was an outsider when I came here, but I wanted to make Kennett my home because this was my wife's home. She has been here her entire life. She loves Kennett. I love Kennett. But I'm not happy with what's going on in my neighborhood. Several of my neighbors have said they wanted to come to these meetings, but you know, talk is cheap. And I'm just concerned that as a city, our citizenry is not taking things seriously. We're looking at the news right now where we're seeing everything going bad all over this nation right now. But I thank God that we did have a peaceful gathering at the courthouse to where we won't have to be certainly faced with this. The idea of arming everybody that works down here is commendable, but we have to be very careful because, like I said, we got a lot of our young people carrying weapons at this time. Now we talk about a neighborhood watch. Well, we got people watching the neighborhood all right, but they're not the neighbors who are supposed to be watching the neighborhood. They're the ones who are coming into the neighborhood, watching to see what's going on in the neighborhood. That's the typical neighborhood watch that we've got to look at right now. The perpetrators who are coming in our areas. Most of the people who live around us are hard-working, God-fearing people, but we got elements coming into our neighborhoods who don't even live there. Most of these young people don't even live in our neighborhood, but we're always having to be faced with them with all hours of the night. So for one, back to the curfew. I think it was a big mistake for the curfew to be lifted the way it was. I think, and I've talked to the chief about this too, that curfew should have stayed in place. As long as the coronavirus situation is going on, we need to try to protect not only our citizens, but also the property owners in this town. Because these young people have no regard of person or any regard of property because they don't own any. So we need to be serious about this. But I thought I would bring this to you all's attention and once again commend the chief and his officers for what they've been doing and also the work you all are trying to do here as a council. So thank you for letting me speak.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Chief, is there anything we can do over there, increase patrols?
We try to increase patrols since the times he's told us about when the problems start coming. But we try to be in that area the best we can. Sometimes during the day we get called away, maybe a while before we can get back.
Is it mainly nighttime, sir?
It's been mainly between the hours of 2:30 in the afternoon and during the time of the curfew. And but I will commend the chief once again. I forgot to bring that up. It has been reasonably quiet because there has been a patrol presence coming through. So it's been relatively quiet this past week. It's been so quiet it's almost scary. But I know pretty soon that it's gonna gear back up because like I say, with graduation coming around the 12th of June, we've had one time, we had a block party, unauthorized block party about a year or two ago that I also brought to you all's attention. So this is another issue that I'm afraid of. Even when they're out of school, they know there's a certain area that they can come to and party till the lights go off.
Can you remind me one more time what this intersection is?
This is the intersection of North Street and Baldwin Street.
North and Baldwin, okay.
North and Baldwin.
I know a lot of times, especially at night and afternoon, officers sometimes will stop, take a break, whatever. Is there any way they could do that there? Take a break on the corner there?
Yeah, we try to hang out.
I know you do. I'm just wanting to reiterate, especially them and the public.
We've increased some patrols, even people that are blocking the streets on one side, we've started running them off, telling them, look, you know, we will ticket you and we'll tow your car if you keep blocking the street like that. So stuff like that we've done has helped. It had gotten quieter on calls in that area, and the only thing I know to do at this point is just keep our patrols up best we can, and just keep those efforts going.
I had asked this question once before. Isn't there a city ordinance about parking, unauthorized parking on the street if you don't live in the residence? Most of us have to park on our lot.
It's not limited to if you don't live there, but if you park in the street and obstruct traffic, that's a violation of the ordinance.
So that's happening a lot as well?
Occasionally, it gets like that.
Well, I'll tell you, every time you guys come, things don't happen unless people let us know. And like, I know you came last year and I actually thought things were a lot better, and it seems like they are, but there are some issues still. I wish more people would let us know and come, because we're doing a full-time job on a part of a part-time basis. And it's hard to do things unless we really know. And I appreciate you guys coming and caring for your community as much as you do. I really appreciate that.
Well, like I said, Canton is my home.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It is. And I really appreciate that. More people need to feel that way.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Anyone else? All right. We'll need a motion to go on closed session. Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, we adjourn to go on closed session.